So Sasha, you wanted to talk about Cursor today. It's this AI-powered software development tool. It's going to put me out of a job and deploy and build software. We are in disagreement though. You think it's hype?
I don't think it's hype.
Oh, I totally think it's hype. Hi, Sasha. I'm sorry. You're not a coder, but I am. And this Cursor thing, the thing that blew me away was this video of an 8-year-old girl programming like hello world, and she's like making this website, and she's giving these instructions using Claude Sonnet 3.5. Yay, you know, kind of an oldie but a goodie. And she's like tweaking the website, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going to be our future software developer, and this is not good. She has no idea what she's doing.
I think it's great. Why would you say it's not good?
She's like, I don't think I should say this. I think you should say that. And then it's like, it changed. It's amazing. I mean, it's just like,
it's fantastic. It is fantastic. And you actually see a lot of people say these days, like, I was thinking about, you know, becoming a software engineer, but I don't know if like, you know, how that industry is going to change over time. And it's lowering the barrier to entry for a lot of these software engineers.
But you know, the problem is like us oldies, we're going to be the incumbents, and we're going to do the interview, and we ask them, so how do you learn how to program? And you're going to tell me I use Cursor. I'm like, no, pass. So how are they going to get new jobs? It's going to have to like come from within, but I don't know. Sasha, the reason why I don't think it's going to replace an engineer is, number one, it doesn't help you think in a software kind of way. I mean, Sam Altman was famous to say that software engineering helps you think in a very structured way. And the way this AI is working, it's making you dumb as a programmer because you have no idea how it works. And if you build anything remotely complicated, you need to know how to guide this thing or how all the different parts work together to even know what to ask. But I think these Cursor things, I mean, it's cool and all, but it is not, it's kind of making it bad at programming. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I agree. These models currently are quote unquote dumb, but the work that they're kind of being like forced to reason through these prompts and steps that they're not actually trained like or inherently capable of a lot of the reasoning tasks that we're trying to do. So by introducing these steps, we're artificially creating this capability.
I think the part that disturbed me the most was that the Cursor demo, at least, wasn't about how it helps you program. It was like how you get someone to program something from scratch.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, like a very young girl. I was very, very inspired by what she was trying to do. I mean, part of it is my own venting because I'm teaching my sons how to build a website, and they copied something from Google Docs and they pasted it in their like rich text editor, and it completely like blew up in terms of the formatting. Because I know that when you copy from Google Docs, the DOM is all jacked, and so you can't just paste from Google Docs into a rich text editor. They didn't know that, and so they're like, "Dad, why is it like all jacked up?" And I'm like, "Well, let me talk to you about the DOM and the HTML that you can't see. It's in there actually." And so it is pretty frustrating. And I think, you know, there is some opportunity with Cursor, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just being the old guy. I'm very, very resistant.
I think people just learn the core mechanics at play in the same way that we don't necessarily understand DNA entirely. And like, you know, we've sequenced the whole human genome right now, and that's probably one of the most complex code bases. But yet we find ourselves capable of editing, tweaking, managing a lot of that as well. So I think it just comes down to like how granular do you need to get to in the mechanics in order to achieve a certain outcome. And, you know, if you're looking at, you know, foundational models and you're looking at sizes, you might have to go down to the nitty gritty and understand like how quantization works and the architecture. But for 98% of people, that's not going to be relevant, right? So if it's shifting and removing a lot of that technical burden and that overhead and that, I think that's a fantastic outcome. And I do see us getting to that point, and I still see us staying, you know, having a specialist tools and specialist people for specific outcomes. But for the remainder of the things, I actually see these tools doing a good enough job, and that's the majority of the engineering work that is being done today is probably pretty homogenized, where you're, you know, building pretty similar features across different code bases, which is totally replicatable.
I'm going to agree to disagree. Okay. So Sasha, the other cool related article was that you said that GitHub Copilot has been proven to show productivity improvements for software developers by 26%. But the problem is 30 to 40% of the developers haven't even tried it yet. And that's like me. And it's interesting because you're saying there's personal preferences that are involved. There's this thing called inertia. Does that mean like I'm just old and I don't want to change?
Yeah, pretty much. There's
Oh, yeah,
your
I'm not going to
reason.
cover this article.
There's your
Okay.
reason.
But Copilot is way more established than Cursor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's GitHub, it's
Yeah.
built into VS Code. It's like
Yeah.
the perfect Copilot. It's like it's your sidekick. And
Yeah.
even then, it's finding some difficulty for people to use, and at least extensively. It can autocomplete like a basic, maybe word for me, but fill out code like the real big demos do. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge productivity increase, especially if you're early on in your career. And I'm sure that, like, given that there's a 26% weighted average, it actually means that the top 25th percentile is maybe a pretty marginal. So maybe this is the reason why you're not experiencing it.
It makes me worse, not even better, right? It makes me worse if
Yeah,
I
it
use
slows
it.
you down maybe because you're so good. I don't know.
I think so. So anyways, you're talking about this 50th percentile junior developer, and on a related story, you're saying Replit released a new product called Agent, and it allows anyone to make apps super easy using AI. So why don't you have a video for it?
Yeah, and Replit's a lighter weight version of Cursor, which allows you to just basically boot things up a little bit easier and do one-self stuff. But I mean, if you check out this video, I mean, the person goes through and creates a student discount code generator in less than 5 minutes. And this is something that historically, if you're a product manager working with a team, it would have taken you maybe a couple of days to push out this feature. And someone is doing this in 5 minutes on a mobile phone. This is the sort of thing where you could generate something in your lunch break, right? And sure, like, how this fits into a broader ecosystem and a development framework, might not, mesh entirely, but you can't discount the fact that this is pretty impressive still.
I agree. It is impressive, but you know why? It's because, for me at least, it's a mobile phone app they're making, which is hard. I mean, it's like, oh, you gotta do toolkits and formatting and breakpoints, and yet they're just doing it off their phone. I don't agree with the Stripe coupon code. Why would you be doing? Anyways, it is very cool though, I admit. So
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. All right, so Sasha, you're gonna have to demo this Replit agent for me. So this weekend, you're gonna build something. Okay, what would you build?
I would build a tool that replaces VCs so we can be in the same boat and we go fishing.
I'm for that. Okay,
Let's
show
do
me.
it.
I'll see you next week.
See ya.